to impact lives. So once more, let me say good evening to everyone, and good evening to our many followers and viewers. If this is your first time, this is the Liberia International Student Network, and of course, we are an independent and professional institution that is instituted to discuss issues that international students are faced with, and of course issues within the professional setting of our country. So feel comfortable to form part of this family wherever you are as a Liberian, wherever you are studying or staying as a Liberian. I mean, we need your input and we need your we need your support to ensure that we all work out things to make Liberia a better place. Having said that, this evening we will be talking about two main issues, two main topics, ranging from why are Liberians leaving from Liberia to pursue higher education abroad. So we will be discussing the root causes and what problems this is causing for young Liberians that are leaving to seek higher education abroad. That's the first topic, and the second topic is that's like a backup topic is what role are agencies? We call them travel agencies in Liberia. What role are those people playing to get Liberian students out of the country, and what are the negative impact on those Liberians? How how is the involvement of travel agencies, quote unquote travel agencies, um, impacting the lives of Liberian students, especially those who are traveling abroad. So, guys, we will be on this note. We will be taking a round um, to share our own perspective, share your own thought with us based on your experience in your prospective countries of study. Let us know. Let Liberians to know your own experience in your country. What are the challenges you are faced with? You will tell us that later today, but tell us why do you think Liberians are actually getting out of the country? Is it because our system has issues? This is something we want to discuss today as well. But tell us from your own experience and from your own analysis based on what people have told you individually and, of course, what you have heard in the air. What is leading to Liberians leaving that country to acquire higher education abroad when we have numbers of higher institutions of learning? So we will start with Luke Crua from China. Luke, please tell us what you think could be some of the contributing factors to Liberians getting out of that country in pursuit of higher education abroad. Let's hear you.
All right. Okay. So, thank you very much. Uh, I mean, as we all know, uh, we can see the glaring facts, and there are a lot of factors that we all can attribute uh, to Liberians leaving,
So like
the
experience
country and
living
flooding.
in a country flooding.
All right.
Please try to work on your device. It's a terrible feedback here.
Is it from my
Just use
end?
one. No, it's from enough.
Is that okay?
Yes, so Luke, you can go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so you can go ahead. Yeah, so like I was saying, there are many
Yeah, so
factors.
like I was saying, there are many factors.
Uh, some
Uh,
of the factors can
some of the factors
safely highlight include
they
the
may
non-related
Look, just just you know, you terrible feedback. Yeah, you can be very terrible feedback. Okay, Luke, you can go ahead. We settled that to come back.
All right. So again, like I said, there are several factors uh, that we can actually attribute to uh, the cause of Liberians leaving the countries. I mean, going out there with different intentions, perhaps for school and other things. I mean, we can attribute them to several factors, including we could also say the low quality of higher education, institutions in the country. Uh, I mean, like I usually like to speak with. I like to speak to uh, and give scenarios. Uh, for example, if you actually have a very good product, if you are actually doing a business, you have a very good product, um, and that is actually active. You find customers coming in, to buy. The distribution of those, product or services. We see a lot of consumers coming in to consume whatever it is, whatever service, whatever product is it. So when it is not attractive, when it is the quality is poor, you're going to find out people going looking for the affordable one. People will actually go looking for um, the accessible one. People will go for the attractive one. So that's the context I'm actually speaking from. uh, we all know the quality of our education institutions in the country. um, it is actually poor, uh, and these are some of the reasons why uh, you will find out that most Liberian youth or students will rather go to uh, higher standardized institutions, across the world, to acquire higher education and so and so on and so forth. And another thing you can also allude to that is that most of these institutions are poorly funded. The government institutions we can all see across the country. You have the University of Liberia. You also have those local, community colleges and stuff. They are poorly funded, and it's not actually attractive. So you cannot find those contemporary learning environment, accessible learning environment in the country. So people definitely have to go looking for the very best service, the very best quality education, and some people might also want to leave the country, or some people have left the country. Some people want to leave the country, basically because of the consistent strikes, strike from the teachers. Teachers will go slow due to salary delay. And it is everywhere, right? We see that in the private institution, teachers will go slow. In the public institutions, teacher will go slow, and and so on and so forth. And all of those have consequences on, I mean, on the learning environment and stuff. So people want to complete. Like for example, you go to the University of Liberia, you will have the teachers going on strike. You will also have the students always protesting, going on strike. So if you were to do a 4 years program, you're probably going to spend like 6 years over there. I mean, these are all troubling, stuff that can actually lead or pressure or lead to students leaving the countries or youth leaving the country and stuff. And one of the thing I think everyone will agree with is for better job opportunities. I mean, like you can have a country. Uh, I mean, there is. I mean, there you cannot find. I mean, different industries. You don't. I don't even know how many uh, company or industries in Liberia that produces different products or so. Uh, but you will have like chemistry students that should have some internship in the let's say the chemical industry or the pharmaceuticals and stuff like that. You're going to have those students. They just do everything in a classroom. There's no laboratory to support that theory they are actually learning. And there are a lot of factors. So people will basically want to go looking for job opportunity, and then after university, after college, after vocational school, you're going to see the HR uh, advertising job with a minimum criteria of 3 years working experience. So where will you get a working experience when you cannot do the normal internship you're supposed to do? You cannot do the normal part-time you're supposed to do and stuff like that. So people will definitely have to go looking for the greenest pasture and and everything. So there are a lot of factors. I think you guys can also allude to as well. Maybe the last one I will actually talk about again is the preference for maybe foreign certificates or foreign degree. You already know the country. People would definitely want to. I mean, they will prefer a foreign education over the local education. I mean, it's just a simple logic. I mean, no standard. The standard is low. For example, you have a country with, let's say, 4.5, maybe when the official census result comes, or it could probably be 5 point something or 6 million, or close to 6 million population, you only have one medical school in the country. I mean, like we don't. I mean, we do not even meet the minimum standard. To be frank, we do not meet the minimum, standard. So people would definitely have to go, out of the country, and people would definitely employers will go for, the outside uh, papers or degree or certificates, and they actually going to prefer that. Yeah. So these are all attributes we can actually um, allude to those. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you very much. We will have to take our own time to run through this because uh, there are a lot. So this is the reason, guys. We have 2 hours to be here. So we'd like for you to enjoy your time. So there's a reason why I'm allotting like almost 10 minutes to this one because this is important. After here, we're going to be answering some questions. So thank you very much, Luke. I think you touched some very important points that some of our viewers, if not all, and some of our panelists might agree with you. Julius, let's hear you from the Republic of Cyprus.
Yeah, thank you very much. Well, I think one of the major reasons why people are leaving, or students or young people are leaving Liberia, one I will attribute it to system failure. Yeah, system failure. Liberia lacks serious system implementation, and that is a major problem we are faced with. That is a age problem. Years to come. Liberia have not learned to build a proper system where students can benefit from. Like Luke spoke about internship, right? You have university that will offer courses that require internships so that student can have a hand-on desk experience before graduating. But within Liberia, you really don't have it. Majority of the university they don't offer internship, and then employers will ask students or graduates for a year's experience, knowing fully well that that person just graduated from the university. So system failure is one of the things that attributing to the huge number of young people leaving Liberia. Two, uh, I will attribute another one to economic failure, economic breakdown. Most of the students you see leaving Liberia actually leave Liberia for two purposes. One, to acquire education. Two, to find greener pasture. And that is the reason why most of them are also misled by people who intend to do a mission for them. So people are leaving Liberia not just because they want to study, young people, but because they want to study and also find greener pasture. So I will also attribute that to economic failure. Once you have an economic breakdown, people are eager to leave because they want to survive. And these young people have dreams that they want to pursue. So if the country they are living in are not providing those necessary things that they need to have, they will definitely have to leave. They will definitely have to leave. And there's the thing, right? Because if you if and that's the reason why people are misled and people are going to a country where they don't need to go to
Look,
study.
Julius, let's get something just before you move further. Let's get something.
Mhm.
Are you trying to say that to be realistic, some of those Liberians who are leaving from the country uh, with the belief that look, we're going to study are not actually coming to study, but they're coming out here to find something to do in a good environment.
No, there are a couple of them. There are a couple of them who are coming with the intent to study. Now, there are two intentions that they have, right? One is
Okay.
to study, two is to amalgamate wealth, right? So the thing is, they are leaving because they want to study. But then there are other motives after study. There are other motives after study. Some of them are leaving to study because they have read on the country that, oh, if you are a student in the country, you are also permitted to work.
Okay.
And within Liberia, you hardly see that. You look at the unemployment rate of Liberia. There are people who have already graduated that don't have a job. So let's talk about people who are already in school. You think they will have a job? No, they will definitely don't have a job. So people are using one stone, like people will say, one stone to kill two birds. So one economic constraint are causing a lot of migration from Liberia to other countries, and then system failure.
Okay. So, is there anything you think is also responsible for Liberians leaving from the country?
Basically, I think that is the two major reasons why young people are leaving Liberia to study outside of Liberia. There's no
Thank.
system. There is no system in place in almost all of the university, and then we talk about internship, right? Which is very cardinal for Liberian students, young Liberian students. Like look
Okay.
really putly, you will have somebody who is reading genetics, right?
Hmm.
You don't have a well standardized laboratory in Liberia that people will go and play with one or two or three, four genes to do gene mutation. You understand? So these are things people want to pursue their dreams. People want to actualize what they really want to do. But there are no facility, there's no system in place.
Look,
There's no system in place.
Wilson, you're making some very interesting points here tonight. You're making some very interesting points. Look, I want to get something clear from you. I'll get back to Luke, but before moving to Zoa from China, I want to get something from you. When you say system problem, somebody would say like that's a broad. I mean, word when you say system problem. It sounds too broad. What are some of those systems you think we need to work on? I mean, what are some of the systems you think supposed to be in place that are not in place, or maybe the structure is there, but this seems to be like it's not working at all. Yeah.
Go ahead. When you speak about structure and you speak about system, the first thing you go to the University of Liberia, which is a state-run university. A registration process would take forever to be completed. You go to most of these community colleges. The first thing, they don't even have a functional computer lab. Least to talk about laboratory at the University of Liberia. So these are things. Let's take for instance, if you offering an IT course, somebody is doing networking. Yeah, look, somebody is doing networking. That person needs to have a hand-on decks, full experience
Okay.
to know what they are doing. Now, most of the university in Liberia will not give you that kind of opportunity. Now we talk about internship, right? How many university build tie with companies in Liberia that they will send their students to go have an experience? Let's say, for instance, am I in Liberia and I'm reading management, right? How many universities have good tie with companies in Liberia that this student who is reading management will go to the managerial department and have an experience on how the system works? It doesn't work in Liberia. So when we say system, we mean these things that students will be able to benefit from. The kind of experience that you would take them into the field before they graduate and they have an experience on what they are going to do in society.
Excellent.
But our
Oh,
country don't have that. A lot of universities don't create the opportunity for you to have that kind of experience.
I think I got that from you very clear. Thank you very much. So, Mr. Zua Tapo from India. How is India this evening? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, Manuel, I can hear you.
Okay. Please speak to
Um,
please speak to Liberians. What do you think is responsible for many Liberians leaving that country in pursuit of higher education abroad? Because the reason we're discussing this tonight, mind you, there are Liberian students out here finding it difficult. Some of them actually came to go to school, like Julius Wilson said today. Some of them came to go for two purposes: to go to school and to find something to do at the end of the day. And unfortunately, some of the places they have landed, things seems to be different, and they are finding it very difficult in the Western world. Share with us your own thoughts about this. Why do you think Liberians are leaving instead of staying back home to go to school? Instead of all of us staying back home to go to school, we want to leave. Why do you think this is happening? Talk to us.
Greetings to Liberians and greetings to those who are following. Um, Let me say, I might be coming in broken. I'm challenged by the internet, the bad network currently in Liberia. This is why my camera is off because I have to come out in the dark in search of good network to be able to communicate. Yes, that's my major problem right now. I am in Miami, of course, but let me speak to Liberians about the numerous causes of why Liberians youth, young people are leaving Liberia to go abroad in search of studies, in search of greener pastures. Like previous speakers have said, there are people are leaving Liberia for many reasons. Young people are leaving Liberia because of many reasons. Some are leaving Liberia because they want to go out for study. Some are also, guys, can you hear me?
Well,
Ivan, you are
we are
clear, but you,
we're getting you just that there's a feedback coming from over there. But go on, go on.
yeah, but the feedback will be challenges are making people to leave. So we understand this.
The
Okay,
internet
yeah, go
quality
on.
is very, very, very poor. I'm so embarrassed, but I can't do anything. So,
I
like I
think.
was saying,
Uh-huh.
people are leaving Liberia because of many reasons. Some are leaving Liberia actually for study purpose. Why are they going? There are some discipline that they are interested in that is not being offered in Liberia. That's one of the reasons.
Okay.
Another reason could be systemic problem, like previous speakers have said. And the third reasons is they are going to Miami International Airport
Miami Internet.
Some of the reason why students are leaving, well,
My man Julius, I'm begging you tonight, man. Okay, while we wait for Ino to join us later, I think he has left. Let's hear you. Mr. Takwa, share with us your thoughts.
All right, thank you so much. Let me start personally with myself. The reason for which I left Liberia to pursue education in India is because my profession is not offered in Liberia on a master level. I graduated from the University of Liberia from the engineering department, but and want to pursue master in engineering. But there is no institution in Liberia currently as we speak that is offering master in engineering. So that's one of the reasons, and that's one of the serious challenges for us that are pursuing engineering. You have to leave the country and go elsewhere to pursue education based on your area of study. So, notwithstanding, besides the personal reasons, besides the personal reason given, we are talking tonight why Liberians are leaving or why students are leaving from Liberia. There are many reasons that all of you have said some of have said some. Now, people will leave for several reasons, and one of the reasons could be as we speak now. Just one of our panelists just to
Mhm.
uh, come on and talk to us through the internet. It began challenge in Liberia. Liberia internet system, if you are doing research to
mm-hmm.
be in a country and do research on internet, it is more expensive. Like for example, in India, internet is almost like free because if you buy your package for a month, you use the package exactly for that month. Once you are told that this package is for 1 month, you use the package for 1 month. It is not the other way around that maybe one way or the other you will say I'm buying 1 week package. Then if you use it today, when it gets expired, it is finished. No, once it is 1 month package, whether you use the internet any way you want to use it, it is 1 month. And definitely, once you want to go on internet and study, you will study according to what you want to do. So internet is a problem in Liberia with high cost. So how will students be in Liberia and study on internet and get more information to be compared to others, to their colleagues in the other countries? These are some of the challenges that people are leaving Liberia to study abroad. As one of the panelists said, uh, degree of foreign degree is highly respected more than our own degree. Why? I think these are problems that we ourselves need to call some professional people to kind of answer to us because
Okay, Mr.
while we
Takwa,
are
Mr.
graduate,
Takwa, just a minute. Mr. Takwa, just a minute. Let's agree that we have a plan to have professionals coming here to answer some of these questions. But from your own perspective, from your own how you call it, look of things, why do you think foreign degrees are respected in our country as it compares to Liberia's own degree we got from the University of Liberia, those we got from EMEU, Zion, and the rest of the universities? The most talk about Cottontown. Why do you think foreign degrees are respected than degrees from back home? Just share
Yeah,
with us your own thoughts about it.
this is where I was going. I just mentioned some professional because maybe one way or the other people may have different perspective. But in my own view, the degree are foreign degree are respected more than our degree because the level of research that is done
Great.
by those students in a foreign country is different from our level of research. As I said from the beginning, because of the challenges in internet, uh, because this time people will now like to go manually in library and laboratories to do some studies. Maybe you will not go sit down in a library whole day. You need to go home, relax when it is nighttime, whatsoever you do your study. But because of the internet challenge and other activities, other economic activities, where maybe you come from school, there is no food to eat, and we consider education, the pathway of education in our country to be like suffering to be the requirement to education in our country. Because once sometimes you go to other people, please help me, they say, we pass through the same problem. Once you pass through the same problem, it doesn't mean that people after you should pass through the same problem. I think the problem need to be solved. Once the problem is solved, your area, your country will be attractive, and people will come out from other countries to learn in your country to pursue education. But on the contrary, we don't have the facility. So because we don't have those facilities for learning, people will see they will prefer the foreign degrees more than your Liberian degree. And in most cases, or in some cases, you will see that even the person that is preferred will perform more than you. Have the same degree, but the person will perform more than you. Then why you think employer will not prefer the person? So it is something that we all need to work towards it for our education standard to be high as compared to other countries. We sometimes we hear from our policy makers that our educational system is weak. If you agree that it is weak, what are you doing to make it to make it not weak, or to make it in path with other countries? Then one way or the other, I see another reason students are leaving from Liberia and going to another country to pursue higher education is, we said today, the standard. But after the standard, what happened next? Education as a whole is something that you do to live by. It's something that you do to actually perform. But sometimes the performing aspect is lacking. For me, I taught in Liberia. I have taught in high school for like 10 years in Liberia. But
Oh wow. The Indian man joining people in Miami.
oh, I'm
Oh, he's
sorry. Sometimes I taught for like 10 years in Liberia.
okay.
Those high school that need to prepare the children, that's supposed to prepare the children for higher education. If you get to those high school, sometimes you don't even see a book. Where will teacher make their lesson plan? Where will teacher take the lecture note from? Sometimes it is left with the person involved. Once you apply and say, I want to teach, then all responsibilities are given to you. You need to check for your own book. You need to do this. You need to do everything for yourself when you apply to teach. So in that way, sometimes you will see that uh, instead of you giving the required material, the required material will not be given because not that you don't know, you don't know the material to present, but because you cannot find any book to take the material from. So that
Okay.
it is very challenging.
All right. So Luke and Julius talk about they just focus on Luke. He said we have those same or maybe quality of education that is much more subordinated to those ones in the Western world being offered at a very high cost back home. Sorry, like this is our country, but before you can fix anything, I think we should be able to face the reality. He has said to me that um, he has said to librarians tonight that some of those universities are very expensive and the quality education they're offering probably do not meet the standard. Do you hold the same opinion with Luke? What do you think?
You see, yes, I hold the same opinion with Luke because this is why I'm starting from high school, because if you solve the symptom of the problem, you have not solved the problem. It is better to solve the problem instead of the symptom of the problem. Because why you think in a various university, students will take wax and pass in wax, but when you want to seek admission to other university, to University of Liberia, other university, they call for entrance test. Are they not trusting in a wax? Not that one way or the other, not that they are not trusting in a wax, but because of the standard that is being taught in our various schools. They see the standard, they are aware of the standard, and those standards that are in the various school, they are aware of it. So for that reason, they will call for entrance tests, and many a time it serves as serious impediment to your education in Liberia. Sometimes other people will take University of Liberia entrance 4, 5 times and they will not make a pass. If that happens, then what? And you actually want to pursue education, then definitely some options start to come to your mind. Can I leave the country? Can I do this? So if the opportunity comes, you just leave to go elsewhere and pursue your education. So these are reasons that people are leaving. And definitely, as he has said, some standard of education we have as compared to other countries is very other countries sometimes their education system will be very expensive and our is lesser, or sometimes they just vice versa, because I have the experience here. Sometimes what you pay for master degree here is lesser than what is in Liberia, or sometimes in other institutions in Liberia you pay huge amount for master degree there. So these are
Okay.
things that we need to really solve, to really work towards it for our country to be on a path instead of leaving, so we can attract people to come there and learn. Maybe one way or the other, we learn from the past, either in the 70s, in the 70s or 60s. Others Africans were coming to Liberia to learn. But why is it now that we lost that value? So we need to actually bring back that value to Liberia.
There is where we'll be coming later. Thank you very much. You said a lot and everything make 100% sense to me. And I believe that every Liberian listening tonight also will be making sense out of this. And I would just like to make a few comments. I want to agree with Luke. I want to agree with all of you and say a little more to that. Let me just add a little more to that. What do you think about what do you think about schools back home? Some of them, I mean, that are not even accredited by the Ministry of Education, not just the Ministry of Education, but the Commission on Higher Education. Not just that. What do you think about universities accredited by the same higher education body, like using different curriculum? I tell you different curriculum, but I mean, as a matter of fact, if you have a freshman course uh, being offered at the University of Liberia, that should be the same thing being offered at the AMEU University. But this is not something that is really real. You will see that you have okay English 101, but when you go on the ground, you will find out that I think is trying to enter again. You will find out that different materials are actually being offered. That is varying from from one university to another. Somebody could say that's one of the reasons. We don't have a system. So, like I said, I agree with you guys. You don't have a system. So, for this reason, people do their own thing. Um, two people from the same professional background learning different things at the same levels. I think this is one of the this is one of the things that people could say, but we don't have a good education system in this country. We need to get out there to start getting things working for us. Another thing I want to agree with and throw little light on is what Luke and Julia said about the fees attached to studying in Liberia. I think studying in Liberia is very expensive, and the quality of education being offered is to some extent low. We must say this with fairness. Like for instance, when I entered this country, courses I did at 200 level, 300 level in Liberia. Trust me, I did some right here at 100 level. I mean, same topic, same everything. And one thing is you don't see undergraduate degree holders, that is bachelor degree holders, entering classroom here to teach. Julius, I mean, before just going to that, have you seen that anywhere? This question is going to everyone. Luke, have you seen? Maybe let's talk about at the lower level, at the undergraduate degree levels. Have you seen bachelor degree entering classroom in your respective countries?
Uh, I cannot speak to that because basically I didn't order any undergraduate classes, but I because I came for a master degree. So, but basically at the master level, everyone that taught me is a professor and a PhD holder. Yeah, some are associate professor, some are professor, and they are not just professor passing. They are professor with huge accolades in research. They have a lot of research work. They have a lot of academic articles that you can relate to.
Thank
You
you
can
very
you
much. You
can
did not
use
see
that.
that. You did not see that. What about you, Luke? Maybe the Chinese allow bachelor degree holders to go about teaching bachelor candidates. Does that work like that in China?
So that's why absolutely no. So like Julius said, I mean, There is no way you're going to have a bachelor teaching bachelors, or even a master teaching bachelors. You wouldn't see that. You're actually going look for either an assistant, a professor, an associate professor, or maybe a professor. And
Oh,
these are not just professors. I mean, just by in Liberia, we just call everybody professor. I mean,
most
what's
um,
the article the president written, either a review paper or whatever? No, I mean, so I mean, these are reasons why uh, I say like the standard of education, the standard is low, so people will actually go looking for, the very high standard. So what is happening over there? Like I said in my closing statement, first, is that we do not even meet the minimum standard. That's the fact. We do not meet the minimum standard. And in
thank
recent time, I even heard University of Liberia will be offering PhD. I also
you.
heard my alma mater will also be offering PhD. Come on, guys. You cannot even improve the little facility you even have. I mean, to actually benefit or impact uh, undergraduate degree programs.
I wonder
Programs you
what.
have, yeah, programs you curriculum you actually develop before the war. You're still using the same curriculum when the war is when the entire war is evolving, when things are changing. I mean, like this is the 21st century, and you're still bringing something that, I mean, curriculum that is not developed to meet contemporary, reality today. So it's
Well,
just so disheartening.
that just
I wonder what would be the standard for doing PhD in Liberia.
we'll talk about that.
Probably master will also teach PhD student.
Come on, guys. We're not going to
Yeah,
allow that kind of
obviously.
in the country
Some
because
master will teach PhD student. Like they don't even. I mean, like what we actually need to focus on in this aspect, like when it comes to uh, elevating or trying to improve our standard. I mean, like those people should not just sit in the house there to do nothing. That's why I actually get angry when the country keep, getting loans. I mean, grant from this other country to this other country, and not uh, allocating those funds, to something tangible, something that will impact, something that you can realize revenue from in the future. So
okay,
how can you borrow money, that you're supposed to repay? How can you borrow that and then eat it? Consume it. You don't invest it. Yeah, you don't invest it on something like it happens, right? You have EcoBank, Bragg, other institution that gives loan, right? So if they give you loan, yeah, if they give you loan, they expect you to either pay in 6 months, and you took the loan, you ate the loan. I mean, you ate the money. So how will you repay?
So
That's the
what?
okay.
situation. That's the
Thank you
situation we have.
very
Like,
much.
you know, the people are not
We do
far-sighted.
we do not have bachelor teaching bachelor in China. We do not have bachelor teaching bachelor in
And
Cyprus. What's going on? What's going on in India? Do do
I
you
mean,
do you do you
uh,
see
uh,
master teaching bachelors in, like, I mean, in China?
well, yeah.
even though as as William has just said, even though I have not come to pursue a bachelor program, but what I'm seeing here is even those that have a PhD, they are living over. Then how will a bachelor teach even at a university? Because those professors, those that are professors that have PhD, and even their assistant, those TA within their master's holder. Then where will bachelor pass to come and teach? Is just a difficult situation to even get a bachelor teaching year.
So
So
you see,
I'm not saying
all of
that.
you are now, thank you. All of you are now helping to make my point.
And well, one
One,
minute, I
okay,
come.
yes, go on.
And you see that is the problem Liberia student face with that. I have a similar issue like that, right? If you have these inexperienced people teaching the kids or teaching our students, right, the first thing you will see is the huge inflation of academic malpractices, and that alone contribute to laziness in our educational sector. Because if you have these inexperienced people, you just come from getting your master degree, or you just get your bachelor degree, and because you have a rapport with one department chairman, and he's your big brother and you are his pekin, and then he gave you a course to teach. That is working like Liberia. Those department chairmen find a picking there, they plug them to teach one or two or three courses, and then they get the tips off. And then these people who are teaching also will go and abuse academic malpractice will go on. They will, because it's an abuse to the student. If you're not preparing the students and you're allowing them to pay you, it's an abuse to them. You
I
are
agree with
abusing them. Yes, you are abusing them. So
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 thank Okay, yeah. Julius, we'll come back to you. We'll come back to you. We'll go right back around here because we need to suggest our own solutions to these problems that are leading to, I mean, that are contributing to Liberians living in pursuit of study abroad. So now we've made a very strong point together right now. Look, where we are here in Cyprus, you do not even see master degree holder teaching bachelor easily. I've not been, I've not been, I cannot say opportune, but I've not seen a bachelor's student or a bachelor degree holder or master student or master degree holder entering my classroom as a professor to teach any course. If that has happened, it means it actually happened in a tutorial class where maybe the guy wants to do his own little goodwill and say, look, guys, I understand this course. If there are things that you're not understanding, look, you got to come around, let me help. But the university is not hiring that person. Could we also attribute students leaving from that country to, I mean, inexperienced and low level educated people entering the classroom to teach? I think we can also do that because if you are sitting over there and see in my mind and see that Julius Wilson is returning home with a master's in how you call it, human resource development. You have Luke over there. The man is he's a chemist or something. Luke, you got to talk for yourself later though. Mr. Takwa will be going back home with a master's in engineering. We're anticipating going back home with masters in financial engineering. And then other guys are sitting home being exploited by inexperienced people and taking nothing home. Like something really got to me. That was 2019. I wrote a test. I know myself very well. People, you don't talk about yourself too much. I know when I'm sitting on a test to do, I know what I do there. Bro, we wrote the test. And after everything, the guy was bold enough. He was brave, not just bold, but he was brave to tell me that I scored beyond the scale. I mean, below the scale. That means I'm going to pay him 25 United States dollars. Damn. I was like, where is this guy coming from? I rotate you telling me I score below skill. What's your definition of below skill? When I ask the question, what's your definition of below skill? I score below skill. How do you define that? He said to me, you will stay here. One good thing I know, you can't meet me back here in the same classroom or maybe with the same course next semester. Don't pay. Sit down there. Oh, so like we were under obligation to pay that money. I know with him, I said, I've learned this thing and move forward. So like when you are returning home with your giant size degree, look, I call it giant size degree because the people back home, even me, Emmanuel Goye here today, I know very well that if people are coming from outside with I mean, degrees, that is more valuable and respected as it compares to what we get in our own country. We have to be like straight, like we have said. If you're following this video now, or you're going to follow later, you're going to watch it later. We are just independent people. We share our independent opinion on issues. So I think these are some of the issues. You charging high fees, offering low quality education. The system is flooded with mad practices. I think there are reasons for people to leave. But on the other hand, the people are leaving and meeting difficult times abroad. So something is responsible. This is what we are trying to unearth. And look, I must commend you guys tonight. We are doing exceptionally well with this topic. And having said that, we want to suggest our own, how you call it, solution to this problem. Mr. Julius Wilson, if you were
Mhm.
to be placed in the driver's seat, Mr. President of the Republic of Liberia, George Manuel, we are told you, my man, this is an age-old problem. We need to fix this thing. Suggest to the people of Liberia, suggest to the president of Liberia, recommend to the president of Liberia, what can we do to resolve some of these issues so that we will have a vibrant system where Liberians will be comfortable to stay and learn in their own country. After Julius, we'll move on to Luke, and after Luke, we'll move on to Mr. Tako. Julius, you have 5 minutes because we have our last topic to talk about.
Yeah, well, the first thing is the Ministry of Education needs to do a serious overhaul with their system or with their instructor, because I'm discussing the public school now. Because
Mhm.
yeah, the first thing we need to do is Ministry of Education needs to reinforce all the national, the higher education commission, right, needs to enforce this policy to Vero University on who should be in classroom. And kudos to AMU University. They started that long time. They started to erase bachelor, teaching bachelor.
Okay.
If you go to AMU now, you have a lot of master degrees who teach in bachelor, because our country now, before you and I found a lot of people who have master degrees. At least people have gained more interest in leaving Liberia and going back with a good size degree. And we need to enforce that. We need to enforce that. And one thing the government or the Ministry of Education can do, and all the university, private and public university can do, is to empower their instructors, right? Kudos again to AMU University. It started that. It started sending the most of the professors, the teachers out of Liberia to university in Sierra Leone, where most of them were doing the, how you call it, a PhD. So the University of Liberia needs to follow that same track. The Ministry of Education needs to also follow that same track. They needs to improve, because the thing is, it's not just university. If you go to secondary school, these things are there. You will find high school graduate teaching high school students. It is in the public school, in and out of Mosorado County and other counties. So the first thing we need to do is to build human capacity. So if I was to advise the President of the Republic of Liberia, I would advise him to empower the Ministry of Education And Ministry of Education needs to build their employees' human capacity, because if you do that, if you build the human capacity of these instructors, of these people who wanting to go in the classroom, you create a very good environment for educational system to be very, very, very impressive in our country. Like Luke said, most of the university out there does not in our country does not offer tangible degrees. And that's the reason why people devalue our degrees. You will get somebody who will leave Liberia, go to one of these countries, and the thing about it, the system in this country are very easy. So they will pass through this system, even though they are not as strong as the person who studied in Liberia, but because they are coming with a degree that is recognized from a very good country, so they will come and override you. So, but if we build our human capacity, if we build our human capacity with people who wanting to go into the classroom, then indeed you have improved the system.
Okay, thank you very
And,
much. I think your
another thing, lastly,
okay.
university in Liberia needs to see how best they can start to encourage students to do research. There's some
Okay.
needs that we start to publish article, because I hear somebody say University of Liberia wants to offer PhD, right? The prerequisite to do PhD, you must have written a lot of academic journals. You must have written a lot of articles, published articles.
Yeah.
So how many students, how many master's degree students before they graduate with master's degree and publish article in Liberia? How many of them?
Okay. So you be recommending to the government of Liberia through the office of the president to empower the Ministry of Education as a means of building human capacity, and
Sure,
of course, invest into research and development.
sure.
Thank you very much. So you have a very good recommendation to the president. How I wish you were there to do so tonight. Um, let's hear you, Mr. Kruger. What are you going to suggest or recommend to the Liberian people tonight? How can we fix this thing? People are leaving, we agree. There are root causes that we have elaborated on a lot, but we want to face it now. What's your recommendation?
All right. Basically, we need to build a system uh, supported by the fiscal policy, driven by the House of uh, representative, or the House, the upper and lower houses, uh, and implemented by the executive. So we need to build a system. The fiscal policy should support it, and I mean, who's going to drive that? The legislature, right? They have to do that, and the executive down to the Ministry of Education, uh, down to the civil service agency, need to work a way that need to work around. I mean, building kind of strong relationship with this institution to incorporate these students. To incorporate students into different ministries, agencies, uh, yeah, and other private institutions like the pharmaceutical students doing nursing. Yeah, I think so far so good in Liberia. The nursing students of the, I mean, the medical students have access, yeah, to first hand, practical and stuff like that. So basically, if we build a system that is hugely supported by the budget, I think we're going to be getting somewhere. And another thing is we cannot achieve all of those in the absence of the rule of law. People should be held accountable. Um, you see a massive malpractices in all of those universities in the country, and people just go scot free. You know, before you pass, uh, a let's say a so-called professor, right? We say professor there. A so-called professor must have exploited you, and you have to give in. So it makes the student very lazy, and even down to high school. Like during our high school days, I mean, we have the very best background when it comes to this high school thing, and stuff. We have the very best foundation where uh, you didn't see what is happening right now, the bravery. Uh, I mean, just high school students don't even have time because they need to give some teachers days before getting through, and that's why you're seeing. I mean, the massive error on Facebook. Go and see one sentence. You're going to know that the problem is so deep, very deep, that we need to tackle from the bottom. So that's why I say system, building a system. And you can't build a system in the absence of the fiscal policy. And you can't have that policy in the absence of, uh, you know, the so-called people up there on Capitol Hill. And you can't have it, executed in the absence of, the other people close to our foreign affairs or close to the beach. All right. So we need the system to build. If
Okay.
we build that system, yeah, definitely. If we
Look, I
build
have
that
a question
system,
for you. I have a
yeah, go ahead.
raise a very salient point here today. You have talked about, you and Julius have talked about this high fees that have been charged at various higher institutional learning in our country. If you were the finance minister sitting with the president drafting the budget, how do you think you going to work with private schools ranging from secondary schools, colleges, and university to reduce their costs? You think that is really possible?
Oh, come
Because
on, like,
you have reminded me about this because you just talk about using the fiscal policy of the government fiscal policy to be able to address some of these issues.
come on, like, I mean, the government have the responsibility uh, to regulate the education institutions in the country through the Ministry of uh, Education or the higher education to accreditate, blah blah blah, and stuff like that. Um, and I'm quite sure a vibrant institution or system is always supported. Like uh, government have to support the private institution. They have to support the private institutions with a deal. There should be a deal in as much as your private institution uh, are supported. Like I think government support many of those institutions, subsidize. Okay,
Yes.
okay, they use the word subsidy, right? They subsidize like Cotton Town and other private institutions. So let's try and try to decentralize it. Can we get this to, uh, the private uh, 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 primary or and secondary institutions? Can we try to do that, and not only the government institution, because the government institution cannot only accommodate all of the kids in the country, right? So can we also go back to the private institution, those early learning programs? Can we also uh, instruct and make sure that the private institutions are implementing those curriculum that are being taught uh, at the elementaries in government school? Can this also be done? It can be done through the same fiscal policy we're talking about. I mean, if you feed in the case, the teachers are taking pay on time, we wouldn't experience the malpractices with something, yeah, and the rule of law is also taking place. We wouldn't something. So yes, the Ministry of Finance, exactly, they can do that. I mean, you
Okay.
can. subsidize not only the university, the private university, but you can also subsidize, private, secondary or primary institutions in the country.
Thank you very much. That
To add
is
up,
like me. Okay, yes, quickly because we have our last topic to just wrap around it quickly before we can leave. Yeah, we want to work in
yes,
time.
yes. So that is a very important question you asked, right? And the thing
Yeah.
is, if government is subsidizing these universities, these private institutions, right? Are these subsidies regular? Are these subsidy regular? And if the subsidy is not regular, right? And if the subsidy is not much enough, you will stay from what you are seeing in our country, the hiking of tuitions. And another thing, that should be a penalties, because if government is giving you huge subsidies and you are still exploiting students, there should be a penalty. So I think Luke squared a very serious point. The rule of law should be implied. The rule of law should be implied. But if government is subsidizing you and you are still exploiting a student based on your hiking of tuition, it becomes a problem. Now look at private school in our country. Private school in our country becoming very, 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 very expensive. If you hear one private school, now look at even the Minister of Education school is very unaffordable for an average Liberian. The Minister of Education, he has a school on Hotel Africa Road. That school is very, 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 very expensive. That an average Liberian cannot even afford to send a child there. And I believe that particular minister, his school is being subsidized by government. So these are things that should be a serious task force responsible to track down these institutions. Seriously.
That means I think from what I'm getting from the both of you, we should have a very strong government monitoring evaluation system to be able to ensure that whatever penny government put into how you call it the private sector, so as to ensure that some of these institutions reduce their fees is used appropriately. I think this is a point you're making. Okay, so Mr. Zuatakbo,
Yeah. Uh,
what would be some of the solutions you're going to suggest? You have 5 minutes.
okay. Thank you very much. I think you talk about solution from the early stage. I said if you deal with the symptom of the problem and not dealing with the problem itself, it becomes difficult for you to solve the problem. What do I mean by that? The issue with Liberia education, in my perspective, is we have commercialized institution in our country.
Mm,
I said at the beginning, I have taught in high school for the past 15 years. High schools in Liberia have become business institution. And by business, the objective of every business person is to maximize profit. So if you take that and carry it in a school and make the school as a business, definitely the entire system will be polluted because there to for government, for even government to regularize those things, it will be difficult except that they look at institution and say this institution there should this is these are the requirement for institution. If you reach certain standard, then you are a high school. Certain standard, you are junior high school, and the standard should be set.
but
Because from my experience,
Mr.
what I
Tako,
see,
Mr. Tako, I think these systems are there because I remember when I established my little primary school up Mauritius Farm in 2014. We passed through a lot of bureaucracies at the Ministry of Education, and they gave a long list of requirements
whether
We
the
try our best
bureaucracy.
to meet those requirements before. Why is it that? Why is it that these systems seem not to be working? I mean, we're saying that the system is not like working. So now we want solutions. We want to hear from you. What do you think we can
It's,
do to get the system working, to make it stronger?
uh, that's one of the main things. Setting up a system is another thing, but the workability of the system is another thing. Because the system will be there, but
Okay.
is the system working? Is it being monitored by those that should be monitoring those systems? As I'm speaking to you, what I was saying is, once you commercialize education, you make everything vulnerable. You make the student vulnerable from learning, because uh, just for example, school A fail a student because the student did not perform. Maybe in a 10th grade, school A fails the student because of poor performance. And that student does not want to sit back in the 10th grade class and move to school B, because there is no tracking system into place to compel you to come back to that school. You will continue to be living from one school to another until you graduate. And when you shall have graduated, what will you be carrying home? This is why one time I jokingly told my students that you know why when people are graduating from high school, when they say message by the graduate and people just cry, they said no. I said it is because some people are crying because they are thinking that I have not learned anything in school, and somebody is telling me to come say something. I have not learned anything, and somebody is telling me to come say something. So therefore, you will stand and be crying because there will be no words that will be given out. So for that reason, the system that is put into place, it should be monitored. When the system is wholly and solely monitored, you will see, and starting with the high school, you will see that, and government, if the government take that initiative and do that regularly, there should be, when you're moving from school A to school B, you should carry the requirement, whether you fail. But you see, in our country, the children will just get out. Sometimes you go anywhere, you just prepare your own report card, you get to other school, and there is no monitoring system. So if we have monitoring system, our our educational system will come back to the pre-war status. One of the
Okay.
main is monitoring system. It is
Oh,
not there. Monitoring system is lacking at all in our educational system. This is why it looks the how it is looking today.
thank you very much, guys. So, like from what I've understood from you is, if government step in to be able to subsidize schools, uh, ranging from primary school, secondary school to colleges and universities, um, government will have some control, because the fact that probably maybe government call you on the table and say, look, you're charging 5,000. Why are you charging 5,000? And maybe school A, university A, president say, look, Mr. President of the Republic of Liberia, or Mr. Finance Minister, we are charging this huge amount of money because we are running a lab. The lab is expensive. We have standardized curriculum that we're using. We have our instructors that are being paid, I mean, very well. For this reason, in order to, how you call it, underwrite this cost, we'll be able, I mean, the only thing we can do is to charge more money. Now government comes in and say, look, since this is the case, I'm giving you 5 teachers, 5 professors. The government of Liberia is going to be fully responsible to pay these professors. Now, this is the deal. If I give you 5 professors that I'm responsible for, what are you going to give me in return? if you were to reduce your fees as a result of our offer, the government of Liberia's offer, what are you going to do? Are you going to reduce your fees by 5%, 10%? I think this is the point we're trying to make here. Government should be able to subsidize private institutions because we do not have many government institutions. In fact, we do not have almost everywhere in the counties. Like in my district, where I hail from, I think we just have one. Okay, two now. Let's just say safely we have two high school, full high school. The whole of Nimba, when you're discussing government high school, maybe it'll be around maybe 30, 34, 35. You're discussing a county with over 500,000 population. 500 to 600,000. Yeah, 600,000. The unofficial required statistics that is up now. 600,000 population. Am I correct? 1,600,000? Yes. 1,600,000 people. And you have 30
Liberia,
eh,
Nima?
number. It's 600,000. I think it should be 1,000,000.
No, no. It's around. It's close to 500. It should be 406 something
Okay.
thousand. So yeah,
I'm
but
not too
that's a
good.
huge number.
Yeah, that's a huge number to have only 30 or 35 uh, public schools. That means you will actually have to work with a private institution. How do you do that? Strike a deal so as to be able to, how you call it, accommodate more Liberians, even in the private school, that the average Liberian man will be able to send his child to the private school just as he or she would be willing to send his or her child to, okay, his or her child to the public school. So I think this is very important. And to the universities, something big is wrong, and we all got to fix it in here. Number one, in my mind, government need to start. I mean, like we are talk about this subsidy. That's the people have to add money. Let's just say in the simple Liberian English, add money to the normal salary that the private universities are already paying their staff. Give the people fat salary. Once they are receiving fat salary, they will not, in my mind, you have control over them. That if you are caught in the act of receiving bribery from how you call it, students, you will face this penalty. The rule of law, I agree with you on that one. So the fact that that's where incentives come. Because if I am giving you something, yeah, I should be taking something back too. I cannot be giving you money and you're charging high fees at the same time. You are exploiting students, you're taking money from them, you're making the people lazy. As a result, you have numbers of Liberians graduating from universities. Yes, from universities in Liberia, and of course, difficult to work with them. Difficult to work with them. Sometimes some real high school students or high school graduates are far better than degree holders. So thank you very much. I think we made our point. We really hanking some of these things because we want to bring those in authority, those who are ahead of power, that are able to explain some of these things to us very well on here some days. I mean some days to be able to explain more. So the next thing is, look, we are concerned about international students. People, let's be real, people suffering. Liberians are suffering abroad because they want to learn. Some of them were pushed into this thing. They didn't know where they were going. They didn't know, like somebody rightfully placed it today, to even make your own research in Liberia is expensive. Internet is very expensive. So like many of them, besides that, we are not used to reading like that. You don't know the country you're going to. You don't know the cost of living there. nothing altogether. And one person just called you and said, "Look, I have a program, and I have a program, and just come and take on this program. It's very cheap. Maybe it's like 1,005, 2,000, and you'll get out of Liberia. You're going to Europe, you're going to Asia, you're going to get international degree. You know, Liberians, the first thing that brought in our mind is I'm about to travel. And the word TRAVEL in Liberia means money to everyone. So now the next question is, but if I go there, I'll be able to do little work. Yeah, at least to be able to sustain. Oh, my man, leave that thing. Guys, travel agency, quote unquote travel agencies in our country are causing some problems. They do not communicate well. They have more information than their clients, but they do not really do well for um, the clients. They do not do well for Liberians. So they say, look, this is a fact. This is a very sure, legit program. You can go, you can make life, things will be better for you there. What is your take on this? Where are these people coming from? Are the government aware of them? How can we stop them from doing some of these things? Are we able to play some roles in stopping them from pushing Liberia or Liberians into getting out there to suffer like what we see here? Let's be real. Some people are facing very difficult time right here in Cyprus because a lot. Let's hear from you, Luke. Do you have some experience like that with some Liberians over there? And what do you think we can do I mean, to get some of these, quote unquote travel agency from the way? Are government aware of them?
Um, all right. So I'm actually aware there are friends that have experienced like here. There are friends that have had some of those bad experiences. Uh, some have been like forced to go home. Uh, when you are forced to go home, we could probably say it is deportation also. Um, and I wouldn't only blame the agency.
Okay.
I think everyone going to take a share. The first thing is we need to read, right? I'm also a kind of a victim. If I have actually read about where I was coming when it comes to their foreign policies and and other stuff, uh, I think I would not have come here at a time. Okay, so here's my story. I was working, right? Even if I was not paid, you know, the colloquial, the fat salary or so, but yes, I was earning. So my expectation was like, okay, China is a bro. China is a very big country. So okay, I'm going to China, and I'll be able to do part time. Yeah, I will be able to do part time job, and other stuff. Oh my
Hmm.
gosh, I have completed everything I got in China. Yes, my agent did not tell me like, okay, this is the situation here. You wouldn't find work. You wouldn't do the international student do not work in China. That's the strict policy. If you work and you are caught, you're going to pay a fine of 5,000 or close to $1,000. Uh, and sometimes the university will not issue you a visa,
Wow.
so they will have to send you back. So in China, people like uh, that have the high expectation that they want to travel. Once they hear that, okay, this is China, this is Europe, this is this, and they don't read about that. I mean, they have to read, they have to ask questions. And the reason I said we cannot fully blame the agency is that you have a friend that probably will be blunt and tell you the fact, like, oh, this place is kind of tough. The situation here is not okay. Don't just come. That friend will actually be like, okay, this person is trying to step, you know. step on my way because you are there. You don't want me to come. You don't want to do this. You don't want to do that. I mean, yeah. So these are some of the things that we actually need to look at. So I think our role we can actually play here is the awareness. I think we have the platform, so we need to keep our people alerted about the country. Yeah, it is good. Like we all want to travel out, but know where you are going. I mean, like we are here. We came to a country that don't even have human right. Come on, guys. You don't do part-time job, so how do you survive? The only thing they believe in is go to classroom. From classroom, go back to your I mean, from laboratory, go back to your dorm. From dorm, the next day, just go back to laboratory. I mean, that's what they want you to do. So how will you survive if you don't have any external source, of income? All right. So these are things that people need to know. So we can use the platform to educate people. But the thing is, if you still even educate people, they will still people are desperate to leave because of the situation our country. I mean, our leaders actually put us in a situation where desperation, I mean, has taken over our conscience. Desperation are taking over our security. Desperation are taking over everything. So to curtail this, we should use our platform, keep talking to people. Like, don't just go to this place. Know where you are going. Even though the place you can ride plane, I mean, like to go to those places, they are all not the same. Don't come to China. That's why, like, I advise people, like friends, family, that actually want to come here. I tell them, like, this is why you should expect. Do not expect to come here like, okay, I will go over there to hustle. No, yeah, you could hustle if you are lucky enough and you are not caught by the police. At what time will you even have in the first place? So I advise people like, okay, why you can't look for another country better than this place? Well, I present everything to you, and you can take. I mean, you can go with the decision. So I mean, and the agencies are, the agencies are also contributing a lot to some of this stuff. They give you the kind of a great impression, like, oh, okay, things are okay. Yeah, come there and blah blah. And some will even not give you the right information when you get here. The reality here is quite different, you know. So we need to use our platform. I think that's one of the advocacy we actually should go for, making sure that, yeah, we can bring some of the agencies here. Some are legit, some will give the actual information. We can bring some of them to educate students who want to leave the country, to go to other country to seek tertiary education or standard education also. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you very much. So we, from what I understood from you, well, we are attributing um, some of the issues to the individuals themselves, because sometimes we feel that, I mean, people trying to stop us from grabbing opportunity that we're already hanging on. Um, I agree with you on that. For some of us, I try before coming here, for instance, I try reading, but guess what? When it was a very crazy experience for me altogether, because when I tried to read about this place, I was reading about somewhere different. I didn't even know. So everything about the place is euros. When you can make in euros, when you can't be working for euros and everything. I started checking beyond, um, the people minimum wage, because as you may be aware, I was doing some little thing back home too, like you right for the place today. I was not working for that fast salary at least, but I could sustain myself now. I said, no, but if I'm working here for this and this is the fees I'm going to be paying, and of course, I will also be receiving this at the end of the month. It means in 4 months' time, I'll be able to pay my semester fee, I'll be able to pay house rent, and even send money back home to my family. That was something different. That was different plan. When I got here, I mean, it was crazy for me. So look, I think you made a point, and I agree with you on that, that we need to use this platform to educate our people. If those people are going to agree, because some of them will tell you, I don't like the media. So we can bring some of them here, some of them from the various travel, quote unquote, travel agencies to come and explain to the Liberian people why are they pushing people into suffering? Because some of the people will go and explain to them, my man, even though I want to go to school in a Liberian way, but when I'm going to school, I want to be there because I say, don't worry. You know how persuasive the people are, though. Don't worry on nothing. You will get job to do. Where did Liberia get? Go. So we want to get some of them coming here. Julius Wilson, let's hear you.
Yeah, thank you again for bringing me on. Don't be surprised some of the days that they get placed in North Korea to study. Okay, so you see, the thing is, where to get rid of these agencies is very, very difficult because some of these agencies, they are not visible. When I say visible, they don't have office. Some of these agencies, they operate under the sleeves of those people who book tickets. You understand? I've had a rare experience with a couple of them. So the thing is, like Luke rightly put it, right? We need to use this platform to create an awareness and make sure we also try to do some kind of online seminars to who be high school graduates who quote unquote might have the ambition to travel outside to get further education. So we need to do that because if you don't do that, the same situation will be repeated over and over and over and over. Like we all have this same experience with coming, right? You know, the anxiety and then the harsh economic situation and the quest to leave your country, want to experience new life also have pushed most of all into a serious mess that we are in today. I tell you for free, Gwen, I was the human resource officer at Family Planning Republic of Liberia. And when I had this opportunity to to come to Cyprus, because they didn't tell me that I was going to the Turkish Republic of Northeast Cyprus, which of course I wouldn't have bought a plane to come. But then I was told I was going to Cyprus to study.
Where you
Now
are
the
now.
thing, yes, yes, where I am now. And so you know, I'm here now because I left the TRNC. That have it straight. So the thing is, when you Google Cyprus, it brings you all the information pertaining to Cyprus European Union. You will not see TRNC. In fact, so you will, if even if you're reading further down and you see TRNC, you will already have the perception that you are not going to TRNC. So why must you even bother yourself with TRNC? And at the end of the day, you found out that you already in TRNC, you cannot leave. Then that's the reason why you in TRNC, you saw a whole lot of cases where students took their life on the basis of how you call it this depression stuff. I think you saw the video from that Nigerian girl who threw herself down from the story building, right? And a lot of Liberian students suffer depression. It is because of the harsh reality we met outside, because of these people, this quasi, how you call it, agency that is in Liberia. And some of the very same students who are studying outside, who have already been victimized, are also victimizing the people. So, and you can run beyond it now. You will not even, a government does not have that energy to say we will close agency down. You don't even know agency. Are they registered? Are they legitimate? So the only thing we can do is to use our platform. Thank God that Luke said we already have the platform, is to use the platform to create this awareness for people at the end of the day. Because where you saw this, you in TRNC, that at one point in time, the TRNC was almost like a hard cake on the Liberian media.
Oh yeah.
So we need to use the platform seriously because people are becoming more strong. Let me tell you, young children who are living Liberia in pursuit of education are having different professions in this country they are going to. And not even correct professions. Not even correct professions. I don't want to just pronounce war on the platform, but they are having different professions. They are into all kind of stuff. Only because, and the thing about it, the people are not being sincere, right? Somebody leaving a country to can't study, and the second motive is I want to study and earn, but not knowing where you're going, the status for which you are going on prohibits you to work. It prohibits you to work, and so you cannot work. And so if you go and work, it makes it illegal. And probably if you go to a harsh country where the people law are very harsh, you might likely go to jail.
Sure. Sure.
You might likely go to jail. And what becomes of you? You already came with a motive to hustle. Then you go to the country does not provide you the opportunity to work. And you start to work, you get arrested. You don't even have a dime to hire a lawyer. Like I always make the case of the TRNC, to hire a lawyer over there is 2,500 euros. Even though they are not authorized to use euros. but the lawyers are charging in euros.
Lawyers are charging euros. So thank you so much, Julius. We would take Mr. Tapo from India, and I think we have like 18 minutes to go. We have 18 minutes to go, and after that, we will be closing. But we really want to have some of those professionals to come here. Some of those, some of those responsible for these things coming here to explain to Liberians why are they doing this. So
You
let's
need
hear.
to
Let's
you need to bring agent and you need to bring agent. I know agent. I know
call some of
agent.
them. Call some of them. This
And
platform and this.
one way or the other, we did agree with you to come and expose themselves. It's become difficult because if you are not registered with government and you're doing illegal business and somebody invite you to come and sit on a platform to say certain things, you will not say those things because you are not a legitimate entity.
Mr.
So
Tapo, even the legitimate ones are causing problem.
seriously, because even I have the experience where when some those boys that were working with me, one of them said he wanted to travel. I said, "Oh, traveling is not a bad thing, but have you read on where you want to go or what you want to do?" You know, this is what I'm saying. I said from the beginning that the internet system is a very big challenge for us. Sometimes, since Facebook is one way or the other free, is one way or the other data free. People usually on Facebook more than other more than other things to really get information. So if someone tells you you are going to so and so country, I'm sending you this way, that way to go and do certain thing. Can you read about the area before going? It's a serious challenge. You will not have sufficient information, but they will give you, even it's not factual, that when you leave and get to the other country, it becomes serious embarrassment to you. That sometimes what you don't plan to do, you will be able to do that in the other country. So it is very important that we say those things that the the authority listening should be aware of those things so they can try to put system into place to regularize those things and compel those people to do the rightful thing and give right information to the Liberian students if for any reason they want to go out and study. Because you cannot leave for the purpose of studying, then you go and meet up with another thing. That alone, that trauma alone, because when you are there already, you have left your country and say, oh, I'm going for education. Then you reach there and the situation becomes different. Will you just come back free? and you don't want to come free. So that alone can push you into another things that you don't want to do. So it is good that we are saying those things on this platform. People that are listening to be aware of those agency that are telling you, oh, we processing for you to go to XYZ country. And one of the things they do also, all of what that is need to be done at the university, even the university will charge different fee and they charge exorbitantly. These are things we really need to look at and really give the information to our brothers and sisters back home so they can be aware when they are dealing with anyone or any group of people that will say they are agent for so and so university, or they have agency that are doing so and so thing. Then they too can be able to understand from this platform as to how those things are done, about inviting them here. Actually, some sincere people are there, maybe they will be able to come and explain to us and explain to the Liberian people how their process look like. But again, we need to do the information dissemination here for our our population to know, for our youth to know, for all those that are desiring of getting out of Liberia to learn elsewhere so they can be aware. I think that would be the best way.
Okay, thank you very much. Look, guys, let me tell you something. We have the 5 minutes to close because we wasted some time today, so we gotta pay for it. So we got 5 minutes to close. If I were given the time or the authority to deal with those agencies in Liberia, bro, those people are going to go to jail. Yes, they are causing a lot of problems.
They got one of one and put it during yellow shell.
Yeah, you put the people chewing yellow shit. By the time the people land on the Istanbul airport and traveling out to board a flight to Cyprus, they say, my man, our contract is done. The way you go into that Cyprus, don't call us again. We're finished with you. When you go there, you don't do that. And you look, they lie to the people, children. They tell them lies. Like I said, I'm a victim. I'm a victim. I was coming here with a and guess listen to the phone. When I when I when I entered the airport, I called a guy he could not pick up. He texted me and said, I will talk to you in the morning. And he sent a kind of fearful, how you call it, more laughing at me. He said, but what's the meaning of this? And now when I enter the hotel room, early morning hours, I called a guy. I said, what's up, brother? He said, yes, I'm good. He said, okay, I'm here now. He said, welcome to the land of struggle. But the man started laughing. Welcome to the land of struggle. The man started laughing. Oh. I said, but what's the meaning of that? He said, bro, this place, I just wanted you to come to school. Praise be to God that you are here. You have to fight it. People you won't have family, people are going to help you. What do you mean? You have told me that I'll be able to make around 800 to 900 euros every month to be able to sustain myself. And then when you get outside, we thought I want to make you get outside for that, make carry you on the campus to do your registration. So, like, what I'm talking about here is we need to use this platform to stop individuals and how you call it, agency, travel agency who are actually pushing people into this kind of thing. We were 26 Liberians that entered this island on the same flight that day. Guys, let me tell you this. We are only three that are still here. The rest of them have gone home. We are only three.
Some of them forced
The
to
rest
go
of them go
Belarus.
home. Some of them were, yeah, some of them forced to go Belarus. They turn them back. Oh, yeah. The moment they hit Belarus, they brought them right back to Cyprus. So, like, we need to stop the people. We need to stop them. Because if you are here and maybe you tell somebody, I'm here without support, look, Nobody is going to believe you that you are living here by the grace of God. God is the one carrying you in this place. Those people are causing problems. Some of us here go with, I mean, we whole day. We go whole day without food. I mean, can you imagine this? This is
Hmm.
coming from the agencies. We must stop them. Because if you can't stop them, you will cause more, you will be causing more harm. People, don't get me wrong. Before closing, this is my closing comment. Let me tell this. Cyprus has a very good education system. Their system is very, very well. It's well built to the European standard.
Be
They have a
specific.
strong.
Be specific.
I'm talking about the Turkish Republic, Northern Cyprus. It's very, very strong when it comes to their curriculum. I mean, it's just as compared to European curriculum. That's the same thing they use here. They are straightforward. You don't have anything to be like spending money to learn it. I mean, to get grade point here whatsoever.
No way.
But the thing is, you don't have the right to work here as a student. And as such, things become very difficult for you if you don't have support coming from back home. So when you are coming here, make sure that I'm talking for myself because I have a family here.
Get Miami, you done that.
Are we good?
Wow, it's
Oh,
never giving problem.
my
I think his line has some fluctuation.
Yeah, sure.
So let's get our parting statement, and I think we are.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
yeah. So overall, I think it is very very important. Uh, we use the platform, and we also encourage the public to support us in the process. Uh, I mean, these are opinions, independent opinions. We are actually sharing on burning issues. Especially this last topic for tonight, I mean, it's something very important. So through your support to like sharing, the podcast uh, to others will actually help a lot. But until we meet again, I think I can start from here. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, so I mean that's just it. We need to create sufficient awareness to those who have the appetite to come out and study. I think they themselves also needs to do additional research before leaving Liberia. It is important to leave Liberia to come and acquire uh, better education because of the system we have home. But why in the process of doing that, make sure you research on the country that you want to go to. Because if you don't do so and you go and resign your job like some of us did, you just be making a lifetime mistake. It is important to come and get a degree, even though some of us will endure to the end until we acquire what we came for, but it was not easy. And once you don't have a strong financial backing, you will not get a degree. Yeah, so we will use the platform to create an awareness. So thank you.
I think it has been said all uh, from our very locations. I think this is happening all over. Once you have come to learn, it means you are just a student. To just to get even a part-time job to do is very difficult. So once you leave in your country to come and say you are going out to study, especially in India, please try by all means learn, read about where you are going, and try to get your financial support before you can leave. If you don't have financial support, if you leave, you may one way or the other be regretting the situation why you should leave. So I think we have said it, and people that are listening, they will take in the advice and follow it before leaving the country to go elsewhere to learn. We are not telling you or we are not discouraging you not to go, but it is the reality, the independent reality we are giving you to be aware of it before going to any country. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me just close by saying thank you to all of you. Thank you to our viewers. Thank you for joining us tonight. It has been a pleasant time together. We will be back here on Friday and Saturday. We have 2 more days to be here this week. Please continue following us. Please share our videos, comment on them, like them, and follow our page as well. So we just like to say thank you very much. We need to work together as a team in ensuring that we fix some of the tricky parts Liberian students that are studying abroad are facing. We need to stop agency from pushing Liberians young people into difficult times because they don't tell them the truth. And some of you too that are following us, or maybe that will follow this video later, if you want to travel, please do your background check very well. Check the population of the country. Check the living standard. We're talking about the the per capita rate. You got to check it. You got to check the country wealth as a whole. You got to check everything. You got to check their policy on the international student. Do they accept or allow international students to work in their country? All of these things you need to look at. Don't just listen to one agency, one guy sitting at an agency looking for his agency fee, and then just move into things that you won't like to see happening to you. So I'd like to say thank you very much, guys. It was nice being here. My greetings to your family, and we hope to be here on Friday to talk to the Liberian people. Thank you very much. Goodbye. So I'll see you on Friday.